I got a new to me 2011 Yamaha TMAX just a couple of days ago, and within a minute of leaving the dealership I realized that I hated the windscreen. Anywhere over 40 miles per hour I can't really hear anything but wind noise because the stock shield is directing air right at my helmet and the buffeting makes the ride less than enjoyable, especially around large trucks. There are aftermarket windscreens and even small add-ons that are basically little spoilers or extensions for the top of the windshield to direct air differently, but those cost money. I wanted to see if a free solution could work for me, so I considered two options: cutting the stock clear windscreen down in hopes of changing air movement, or deleting the clear stock windscreen altogether. I decided to try removing the clear shield first because it's pretty simple and I think I would like the appearance better that way, so that's what I'll show you how to do in this video. I began by removing this front Y-shaped panel. There are two plastic push pins or push rivets on the bottom just below the headlights. I used a small screwdriver to push the center of each rivet in, and then they could be removed. Then I removed the top corners of the panel by getting my fingers behind it the best I could and carefully pulling until the fasteners popped loose. The rubber trim on mine was no longer stuck in place, so I had to make sure I didn't damage that in the process. Then I worked my way down each side of the Y, pulling outward until the fasteners disengaged. Finally, there were clips on the bottom edges that required gentle pulling or prying by hand to separate, and the panel could be removed. Next I needed to remove the mirrors, so I peeled back the rubber grommets a bit and then took off the two nuts securing each with a 10mm socket. Then I could pull the mirrors straight off. The tinted fairing needed to come off next, so I had to remove 7 screws around its edges. Then the panel could be taken off. Five plastic screws and 2 bolts held the clear shield in place. The bolts required a 4mm hex key. There were rubber pieces on the mirror mount that I pulled off because they sat on top of the shield. With all of that gone, I removed the clear shield. I also took out these 2 pieces that aren't needed without the shield. Next, I slid the rubber dampers for the mirrors back on as shown. Then the tinted panel was reinstalled and secured with the 7 screws around its edges. These screws are plastic, so you have to be very careful not to over-tighten them or they will break. I snapped one after deciding to give it just a little more torque. Luckily, I could reach in and unscrew it from the other side of the panel and then grab it from the outside and finish removing it. The plastic screws for the clear shield were the same, so I didn't need to find a replacement. Once that panel was on, both mirrors were reinstalled by sliding them straight over the studs and securing them with nuts. Then the grommets were maneuvered back into position so they fit into the tinted panel. Finally, the Y-shaped panel was reinstalled, beginning by lining its clips and pegs up with their receivers and pressing it into place all around the top of the Y. Then the bottom section was pushed in on each side, and all that was left was to install the push rivets in the very bottom of the panel. Before installing them, I pushed from the bottom of the rivet to make the pin protrude above the top as shown to make them easy to install. Then the rivets were inserted into the holes, and pressing the center pins down so they were flush locked the rivets in place. Now the job was complete, but I had a little concern about the tinted panel possibly flexing and vibrating at speed since there was a gap. I took a test ride and never noticed any problem with flex or vibration, even near max speed. I found the ride to be much more pleasant without wind directed at my helmet, but it did feel like the wind pressing on my torso could be an issue for cruising at highway speeds, and I think cutting or buying a windscreen that better directs airflow is likely the best option to reduce rider fatigue on long rides. The decrease in noise makes the ride so much better for me, and I can actually hear the scooter and things around me now. Here's a clip with the stock windshield in place, and then right after that, one without the shield for comparison. If this video was useful or you enjoyed it, please like, favorite, and subscribe for more, and thank you for watching.